Mozalendo Radio. On the show today, I want to talk about Kenya. Kenya is going to be stripped of the rights to host the 2024 Shan hosting rights. Kenya doesn't have a CAF approved stadium, and Kenya is going to lose its hosting rights to Rwanda. Kenya again is going to lose its hosting rights to Rwanda. No Karasani Stadium is going to be ready in less than 30 days for Kenya to be approved by CAF to host the Chan Championship. There's no way. Again, Karasani Stadium, the one you see in the photo, is going to be ready in less than 30 days for Kenya to host the Chan Championship. The Kenyan sports minister, they have all claimed that Kenya is going to be ready, but there's no way. That's false hope they're giving Kenya to avoid embarrassment. But CAF has already approved Kenya is going to be stripped to host the Shan Championship. Kenya right now and Somalia are the only two countries that don't have a CAF approved stadium in East Africa. Kenya doesn't have a CAF approved stadium in East Africa. Listen again. Kenya was given enough time, ample time to prepare, but Kenya has failed. Uganda prepared, and Uganda right now can host a Chan Championship. Tanzania prepared, and right now they can host a Chan Championship. Even Rwanda, they have one of the best stadiums. But what's going on in Kenya? Why has Kenya failed? Because honestly, Kenya is going to be stripped of hosting the Chan Championship. This is the third time where Kenya has disappointed East Africa to host a championship in the region. In 1996, Kenya failed to host the African Cup of Nations. 8 years ago, Kenya failed the Shan Championship. And again, this next year, Kenya is going to fail to host the Chan Championship. What's going on with Kenya? What does this tell us about Kenya? Is their infrastructure really good as they claim? How come they have failed? Are their politicians, are their ministries very corrupt in that they can't prepare even if they are given enough time? And I've always told people, don't be surprised in 2027 when Kenya fails to host the African Cup of Nations. In 2027, Kenya after every elections. In 2027, that's when Kenya is going to have the presidential elections. And you know what happens in Kenya every time after presidential elections. So don't be surprised in 2027 when Kenya also fails to host the African Cup of Nations, because this seems like it's a curse to Kenya. Every time Kenya has to organize a football tournament, something happens. Something happens. Like Kenya now has failed to get a stadium. Can you imagine? The country that claims to have the best infrastructure doesn't have a single CAF approved stadium. When is Karasani Stadium going to be finished? This stadium is renovated all the time, but it is never on the standard to be approved by CAF. How come Tanzania organize themselves and right now they can host the Chan, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Ethiopia? They all can host the Chan Championship. Even South Sudan has a CAF approved stadium right now compared to Kenya. What's going on with Kenya? How come they can't open? They can't host the Chan Championship. This is an embarrassment because now Tanzania, Uganda, and Rwanda are going to host the Chan Championship. This is good because at least Uganda, Rwanda, and Tanzania all share a border. They all share a border, a land border. Just like Kenya shares a land border with Uganda and Tanzania. Same. Rwanda shares a land border with Uganda and Tanzania. So what's your take on this? Why do you think Kenya has failed to why do you think Kenya is going to be stripped to host the Chan Championship? What does this tell us about Kenya? What's going on with these politicians? I'll appreciate if you leave a comment, because even in the recently concluded parliament games, Tanzania and Uganda led Kenya. I'll appreciate if you leave a comment.